Good afternoon and welcome. SuperSport takes you pretty much round the country, and today we find ourselves in Craddock for an FNB Classic Clash in this delightful little town, renowned of course for its sheep, the merino sheep, the Angora goats and everything else that goes with it, as well as this fantastic school, the Marlow Agricultural School, where we have this game, a big traditional clash that has been played over many years. In fact, this is the 10th year of this derby between Oakdale from Riversdale and the local team Marlow. So pretty much a big day for all these people, and of course the whole school comes out. Both schools are not very big if you consider them in numbers term. It's just 260 learners at the local school Marlow, to use the right parlance. They talk about learners, not pupils these days. And well, it's around about 400 for Oakdale. So plenty certainly of local support, and of course traveling support, believing me that it's not just about this game. There's many other games that are played too, so lots of rugby teams come down, and pretty much it's the whole school on both sides that are involved in a sporting day, which takes the form of one year in Riversdale, 1 year in Craddock, and so that's the way it moves. And the interesting thing that where this thing actually came from originally, where the two principals of the respective schools happened to be traveling a decade ago on a train somewhere in Scandinavia, and the idea of playing this derby every year, that's basically where the seed was sown, and that was it. So it's Oakdale who come out first and foremost, led by Benjamin Janssen van Vieren, who's actually the head boy of the school in addition to that. So the visitors, and they had a fantastic match last week against Paul Gymnasium. They drew 17 all, which was a really good effort from their side. We're just waiting for the local team to come out, and there'll be big support for them too, the Marlow side. Last week they had a resounding victory against St Andrews, which they'll be pleased about. And of course, what else would you have for your mascot than a sheep? Alongside me today, former Springbok front row forward, and once he stops laughing at me, we'll introduce Rob Kempson. A big day for both these teams, isn't it?
No, it definitely is. One of these classic clashes, as I said, now a decade in the making. And the other side that Marlow, those gentlemen over there, really play against is Noordkaap every year, which would be the other derby. But it means a lot to these kids. Generally through the day, though, it has been Otanikwa that's been on top. So certainly everything comes down to this, the final game. The first team game is always what the sides measure up against. Whichever team wins this, that'll have won the day.
No question about it. Of course, you and I were at Craven Week a couple of weeks ago, and there's a fair number of players here that played in that Craven Week, certainly from Marlow's side. 8 of their 15 run-on players played in the EP Country District side. And the Southwestern District's Craven Week, which is a very good team, 7 of the 15 of the Oakdale team played in that, so plenty of good players.
Very good players indeed, and of course SVD had quite an emphatic win over the Eastern Province City side, wasn't the Country District side, so you can see a lot of these players, a lot of talent out there on show.
JT Jackson with the kickoff. Now the wind is drifting slightly across field, so it's not necessarily going to favour either team the way we've read it. But then again, we're not from Craddock, so we don't really know the weather that well yet. It is a very nice day here in Craddock, one must say. So Marlow at the moment in their 22. The pass coming there from Jordan Skuman at scrum half. As we said, a lot of Craven Week players playing here today. This could be a keenly fought tussle. Skuman taking it out there to Ronnie Bale. He's 123 kilograms. Pretty big boy at tight head prop.
Release the hands.
And have we seen a turnover here for Oakdale? Yep. It's come their way out from Pierre de Toy. And a very solid tackle there from Luigi van Jaarsveld. Oakdale just probing away, fresh from that excellent match last week against Paul Gymnasium. Or their last up match, I should say. Well, not the best of kicks downfield there from Henry Broom, the fly half. Well, that ball just popping out, and eventually it was a knock-on.
Turnovers going both sides at the moment. Ball security is so important in these derby games. Of course, a lot of players out there, particularly on the Marlow side, they're fetching Niels van Heerden. He's been involved already with the turnover and some big hits going in the centre field. Francois Swanepoel showing he's quite an angry little man, known as Dripple.
Well, you said there were a fair number of these players that have got very interesting nicknames.
Oh, we'll have to go through all of them, Gav, as we go on.
Bind. Scrum.
Jadon Skuman with a put in. Bit of an awful scrum there, but he's done well. Just came away with it. Has kicked into space. Playing inland, of course, the ball can bounce a little bit on these fields. Excellent running this from the fullback. On Barnard.
No, no, call off the leg.
And some support there from Daniel Maria. Some counter-rucking initially, and then Oakdale deciding they want to run it from fairly deep. Taken away by Marlow. It's a little bit scrappy at the moment. First time that Oakdale, or rather Marlow, have managed to get into the Oakdale half of the field. Pierre Toy making sure that he's in place.
Advantage. Holding.
Penalty advantage then to Oakdale.
Back.
That's a huge kick downfield. It gives me an impression that the wind maybe is blowing a little bit behind the backs of the Oakdale team. So referee Stephen Klue will bring them back. It was good advantage played by the referee.
It's good to see so often your referees saying advantage over after the kick has taken place. It wasn't an advantage, and I tend to agree with him, though it was quite far downfield, but possession was in the hands of Marlow.
Well, if the wind is at his back, yeah, Jackson can stick it fairly far downfield. It is a big kick, but it's not out. Marlow looking to run with it and finding some space. One thing that's really important is you've got to chase the kick. It's an old adage that a kick is only as good as its chasers. The Oakdale players were a little bit slow in getting up.
Advantage.
So turnover then for Oakdale.
Back.
Jackson waiting for it.
Advantage
He's
over.
got his fullback, Ruan Barnard, also lurking. He's now in possession. And another chance here, quick through the hands. This is good play, this by Oakdale, but they lack the finishing touches. With a pass out to Lorenzo Gordon on the left wing.
I think Gordon just slightly overran it. The pass coming from Hanno Snyman, the hooker. He's quite a tall man for a hooker. He's in the middle of that front row. Some really large gentlemen amongst those front rows, must be said. Nemo Rulofsa, 107 kgs, but he's a large man.
He's a very large man who's quite useful in other sports too. He was in the South African tug of war team and had won the World Championship in 2012.
Behind, get back, Swami.
Of course, bearing in mind that these are mostly farm boys. They're both agricultural schools, so you'd expect them to be really big, tough boys.
There's not even a question about their toughness.
Right, front overs.
Probably have those gold-plated knives and forks as well. Love to sit down to a meal.
Yep. Well, we had a very decent meal here an hour or two ago. Well, because that's a good scrum that from Oakdale. Eventually Marlow managed to get that out of that. Oakdale pack of forwards look pretty useful, even although they're up against a sizable bunch in the Marlow crowd.
Watch your numbers.
That's two very strong scrums. Have put them on the front foot.
No, it's fine. 14. Fine.
So short line out called, and a good catch there from Stefan Streicher. And big drive there from the same Rulofsa you spoke about. Oakdale desperately looking for
In the air.
the extra space out
No hands,
wide.
now green.
They've got Lorenzo Gordon on the left wing. He's a real sprinter of repute. And this time it's
away, Green.
Jean-Ray Digg that takes it through. He also played at Cravenweek. And an in and out there from Jackson.
Roll away, Green.
So a real chance here for Oakdale. Can they
Fine,
finish
please.
this off somehow?
Offside.
Well, it's a good way to sort of caught a double corkscrew on that occasion there from Janse van Vuren. And then eventually they get over. Well, that's just reward for some good work from the forwards. And then the try from Pierre de Toy.
Strong work from the forwards. One-off runners. They were getting battered back on the defence. We talked about the corkscrew bouncing in and out of tackles. And a sniping little run from Pierre de Toy. Here you can see the big lads taking it up first. That's Benjamin Janse van Vuren. And then the scrum off, spotting a little opening. Defence trying to get out. Just gets over the line. No problem for the referee.
Stephen Clue right on the spot, the referee. So judging the wind, absolutely crucial here for de Toy, and it's over. So a really good start this for Oakdale.
Pierre de Toy gets them on the board with this try. Sniping little run, just gets over. And with the reach on the line, Stephen Clue gives the try.
No doubt we'll see a comeback as well from Marlow. Bearing in mind that Marlow were actually the 6th best team in the country back in 2009. So they've produced some really good rugby players over the years. We know many of them. One, in fact, was playing last night for the Southern Kings down in Port Elizabeth. That being Stephen Sykes. Extra men into the mix in the form of Luigi van Jaarsveld. Through the hands from Broom. Now they've got a bit of extra space. Can they make something of this? Ockert de Preer taking it in. Ball just a little bit slow in coming out, but they've got the men lined up, and they've got the big men lined up. Hannes Viljoen, the first one.
Off the foot.
Now, has that ball been turned over?
Push back, Green.
Oh, it's excellent play by Oakdale. Under real pressure they were. And that's not a bad reply either.
Fantastic clearance kick. Yes, he might have a breeze at his back, but he still was under pressure. He's got it almost up to the 10-meter line.
Mark. Half a meter. Half a meter.
Throw in belonging to Marco Blom. Gets it in straight now. Will we see a driving maul here from the Marlow team? Also, Rob, as you mentioned, some really big guys on their side. Tigerish players like Nelius van Heerden.
Backwards.
Difficult for Jordan Schoeman to get it out. He's also looked like he could provide a handful. That came very close to a tip tackle. The referee's got his arm up at the moment. Oh, the drop attempt from Henry Broom, but it doesn't matter because he knew there was a penalty advantage.
Time off. Captain.
Let's just hear what the referee's got to say.
Captain. Cappy. Did you play that tackled him hard? Couldn't get a number.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Just chat your guys quickly.
Okay.
Just keep the tackles. Not tackled him hard. Dangerous tackle. Sorry. Dangerous tackle. It's not on the right. Let's put the guy down safely. Thank you.
Seen yellow cards for less in schoolboy rugby.
It's a good way of summarising it, I think, Rob. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very, very close to. I mean, there might have been a little bit of management in bringing the man to deck. As we said, there's some strong fellows out here in the country, aren't there? Oh, Dirk van Wyk, the fullback for Marlow. And the crowd tell the story. First opportunity for them, and they've cranked it over. quite a delightful setting, isn't it, in so many ways? The blue gum trees in the background, which I don't think we're necessarily that proud of. I think they're a Category 1 invader. But certainly lovely surrounds out here in the country. And the knock-on coming there from Oakdale as they went charging through.
Nemo Rulufsa. I think you might hear a bit more of that name, the way he's playing at the moment.
The strange thing for him is that tug of war is going backwards, but scrumming's going forwards. So it can be a bit confusing.
What it does give you, though, is an immensely strong core, what those wrestlers have overseas from those Eastern Bloc countries. That a number of props have come from there, really done very well in the French league. And it's what scrumming really is about these days. Very strong core.
Little chip there from Michael Buerta in the knock-on. Just how about that little kick from Jordan Skuman?
No advantage.
How do you teach that, Gav? I mean, you're a kicking man.
Well, you know what these boys do. They see their role models doing exactly the same thing. You get out there. It's not that difficult, to be honest with you. In terms of defining your accuracy, that's maybe a little bit of a different story. It's actually not that difficult to kick like that. And he's obviously multi-talented, is Jordan Skuman. Actually, there's a couple of players on the field too, despite their brawn and size, are actually quite good cricket players. Good mix. There's a South African tug-of-war man. The whole bang shoot, which is what you'd expect from schools. That's beautiful play. Getting through that initial man. Now, he has a real chance here for Marlow. Should they have chipped that kick, or should they have kept the ball in hand? Might have been the question, as JT Jackson is brought down. But excellent play, sweeping the length of the field.
It's the beauty of schoolboy rugby. Give the ball some man, give it a go. That's JT Jackson. He saved the day for Oakdale. He got the cross cover. Look at this beautiful pass. This is Piet Skuman. Ball in two hands, strikes the tackle. I agree, perhaps not the right thing to kick, but he did have a speedster coming up the middle of the field in Michael Buerta. And there he comes through.
Yeah, maybe the kick just going a little bit further to have helped the cause. Jackson really battling there, down on his back at the moment. He really got brought to deck, didn't he? And of course the fields up here a little bit harder, aren't they?
Surprisingly for an agricultural school. I know they take great pride in their grounds, as you might expect. But a bit of frost, unfortunately. They can't control that.
Come on.
Yeah, quite difficult sometimes, or different, when you look at a field. Country maybe that doesn't have the winter grass on it, so it's not necessarily that green. It's certainly a very decent surface. Pressure again. That's a fantastic kick once again, right up to the halfway line. As you said, Rob, there is a wound at their back. Somehow either Oakdale haven't really used it to great effect.
Yes, there is a breeze, but to get that type of angle and manage to get it out that far up the field, great execution from JT Jackson.
Marco Blom with the throw-in. He's got Stephen Buerta and Anas Viljoen to help. They've got some tall fellows in their line out. And Skuman with the drop pass. Referee playing advantage again. Excellent play from him. Yeah, disappointing that for Piet Skuman. Rob, you were talking about his tennis exploits a little bit earlier.
Kev, I was wondering if you're going to maybe ask him for a game yourself. You're quite a good tennis player. Could fancy he's got a fairly decent serve behind him, but has played for Eastern Province at that level and has chosen rugby ahead of tennis going forward.
Now that combination you don't often find, but I mean in yesteryear I can tell you that Davy Snyman, the ex-Springbok rugby player, was an excellent tennis player. Kepler Wessels wasn't a bad tennis player himself. I say wasn't. Maybe they still are a little bit, but it's an unusual combination sometimes. That's one of the beauties, I think, of playing or being part of a school that is in the country where you just have so many opportunities, so many different sports, so few distractions. Now, has that ball been won? It was a good effort initially. I think there might have been a knock-on, so Oakdale will play the advantage. Lorenzo Gordon with an inside out.
Advantage over.
Well, you heard the referee, advantage over. Oakdale had extra men, but really weren't able to use them.
Roll away. Advantage.
So penalty will go the way of Marlow.
That number 6, you're going to see more of him. He's a tigerish little fella, gets around the park. Nelius van Eden, that's the 3rd time in a row he's got himself over the ball and stolen it for Marlow. Nickname of Society. Thought we'd go through them, but it's one of the more special ones.
Now that kick also hasn't gone out. Disappointing that for Marlow. They really need to use the opportunities to stay in the Oakdale half of the field, especially playing into the wind. That's good fielding by a tight head prop. Back to the loose head prop, John Day Dig. Just shows the skills that tight forwards have these days. Little grubber from Henry Broom. You could see just if you let the ball bounce around a bit here, you could get yourself into trouble. Now here's another bit of trouble. That ball popped out. Can Marlow make something of this? Oh dear. That's knocked on. But again, Stephen Clue's done well. He's been playing advantage. He's going to come back for the penalty to Marlow. There's some distance into the wind, so not sure that anybody would be able to kick at that distance.
Oh, they bounced the ball. An obscure one that time. Nelius van Eden coming off his chest. I agree with you, Gav. So nice of Stephen Clue. He plays the advantage so well so far in this game.
There we go.
This will be a stern effort, no doubt about that.
I think this is your mate Piet Skuman who's going to have a bash, has it? It's Dirk van Wyk, the man who kicked that penalty over, that first up one. Huge kick for him. That's not a bad effort, that. Just past the left-hand upright and into the breeze. That's a very, very good kick. Sends out a message, doesn't it?
I'm looking forward to the second half. No doubt he's going to have to go from his own 10.
Very clean striker of the ball is Dirk van Wyk. Jackson, with the wind at his back, decides to go pretty deep. And that's not very good play, that, by the home team. They weren't guarding the touchline.
There's a loose head prop all the way out there, NJ Oosthuizen. Don't know what he's doing on the halfway line for a 22 dropout. Do things slightly differently.
He was a bit lonely too. He was very much on his own, and the bounce didn't favour a catch. He's also not the smallest of lads, is he?
And he's just in grade 10, huh? Turned 16 the other day. He's a large piece of meat. The Ginger Locks, nickname of Copper.
Now, Oakdale deciding, let's run the ball, let's play it wide, and by doing so, they've opened up a bit of space here. A real chance for them. Gene Willemse it was that took it in, but has it been turned out? Yes, it's another turnover. Opportune for Marlow. This kick's not out. This is Daniel Maria to his fullback, or rather his left wing, Lorenzo Gordon. South African triple jump champion he is. There's a lot of big contesting at the breakdown points. We've seen a lot of Benjamin Janssen van Vuren and Nelius van Heerden that Rob Kempson was talking about. Working really hard with the ball on the ground. Du Toit. Not too much space there for Willemse and Uber also. Have we seen another turnover? Good counter-racking from Marlow.
Push back. Advantage. Start entry 13.
Well, Jan Uber also is going to be penalised for coming in from the side of the ruck.
And Stefan Buerta gets up. He's the man that stole that ball on the ground.
Your 13 came from the side there. No, not yet. Okay, just came from the side.
In from the sides, the call. I don't think there's a question about it. Number 13 comes in, yeah, right towards the end of that.
Now we're just over the halfway mark in this first half. That's good flat running that from Marlow. Using Luigi van Jaarsveld to help carry it up.
Back! Back!
We really have seen a lot of turnovers today, haven't we, Rob? That's something that both teams would really want to try and work on.
Just got to protect the ball. In these conditions, well, with the wind, you can't give those long floating passes. It's going to be very, very difficult in the handling.
So here's your mark, just wait.
With you're working with young people, just how do you get that
blood.
message across? Because there's a lot of
Okay,
freedom
where's
that you
your
play with
reserves
at school
or your
level,
first
and
aid?
you graduate out of that. What is the messaging that you send them in terms of why and how to protect the ball?
Well, it's
Here we
about
go.
ball
Here we go,
security more than anything. It's just what the, you know, when you do force that last pass in tricky conditions, it obviously gives opportunities for turnovers. But
Okay,
at
can
the
you get a
same
sub for
time,
me?
you don't that
Sub.
natural flair and
For
decision
blood.
making that these players have. You don't want to take it away from them, you know, and put them sort of in the closet and make sure that they're protecting the ball at all costs.
Right, here we go.
So there's a fine line, I think, between both of those.
So today live then at 4:15 on SuperSport 1 HD1, the fantastic semi-final. The Bulls up against the Brumbies. The Bulls playing at home in this particular match. And well, we won't spoil anybody who doesn't know what happened this morning in the other match. But certainly the Bulls will want to put it over the Brumbies.
Crouch! Bind! Scrum!
So Oka de Preer, we saw him coming off. He must have got a smack on the nose, so he's off at the moment.
Rock now!
And the man who's come on is Arno Pienaar. So that might just be a blood replacement initially.
Release tackler!
So Broom trying to get his big men away there. NJ Oosthuizen on that occasion. That's good running off the ball. Excellent running off the ball from Luigi van Jaarsveld.
Rock
Exactly
now!
what Marlow wanted. And the same thing from Nielias van Heerden.
Backwards! Okay, there was a knock on there. No advantage.
Well, for both teams, perhaps a few too many knock-ons.
Not lacking effort, though, really coming to those balls at a lot of pace.
Let's have a scrum.
So you can expect one or two handling areas cropping up there. And solid defence on both sides, it must be said, and putting in the big hits, as you might expect from Farmers.
Well, it's pleasant, you know. We saw all those sheep
Right, chaps,
in
there's your mark.
our lovely wide-angle shot as we started. Tackling a sheep. Huh? They don't tackle back.
Oh, there's a man, Dion Strauss, that used to tackle a few other things. Wildebeest. Not so sure. I'd love to see that, though.
Anything
Scrum.
without horns, right? So that scrum
Same
has
field.
gone through 45 degrees, which at school level is when a referee will stop it. If it goes through 90 degrees,
Same
at senior
field.
rugby, of course, then, you would surrender possession.
All right, just wait, just blood back on.
So Oka de Preer is back on the park. He's had his nose cleaned up. Arno Pienaar has come off.
Stay 5, eh? Stay 5. Crouch! Bind! Scrum!
That ball's come out
Taken
very,
in!
very quickly on the Oakdale side. And will it bounce? No, it's brilliantly taken by Sinead van Heerden. Padiefa, rather. Marlow just doing the basics right outside of the little knock-ons. They've had their opportunities in this first half. Haven't really managed to convert them all. By the same token, Oakdale, it's been pretty much the same story for them.
All right. Must allow him to place the ball, okay? Release it, now get back. Must allow him to place the ball.
Well, it's a breakdown point penalty that's been given against
Where's the kicker?
Roelofse.
Pulse.
No issues with having a kick at goal, yeah, for Dirk van Wyk.
The player must be allowed to place the ball, the referee's saying. You've got to release the player on the ground first, and then you can have a go for the ball, particularly if the assistant tackler. And that's a lot of these players don't realise that. You've still got to show the daylight if you're the assistant tackler.
Behind the kicker.
So the last attempt of a penalty from Dirk van Wyk was from the halfway line. And he had no problem with the distance. Again, there's no problem with the distance, but he's got it straight through. Slowly clawing their way back into this match, Marlow. Well, local people that we chatted to said that they pretty much felt that this could be a very tight game, given the recent form of both of these teams and the fact that it is the traditional derby. And we know about Boland Agriculture as well, also an agricultural school down in the Western Cape.
Rock now! Leave it, Blue! Blue, leave! See the rocks formed?
There's a little chip kick, and which way does it bounce? It bounce just favouring Oakdale on that occasion. They really do feel the pressure at times. Oh, Jordan Skuman unable to get it out to his fly half Henry Broom.
6, 7.
And it's another penalty.
Okay,
Oakdale
ball
paying
wasn't
the
out yet.
price of penalties at the breakdown point.
There's a subtle momentum shift going on here after that penalty went over for Marlow. Really got their tails up. Climbing into those breakdown areas. There's another massive effort coming into a kick. Piling into the breakdown, and then penalty comes after this. To see coming from the side of the ruck. There it is.
He's certainly had a tough match as Benjamin Janssen van Vuren, the captain, in picture. Also got some scars to show that.
Oh, there's typical number 6s, a bit like Cornet Cricket. I'm sure his wife didn't enjoy his playing days with all the scars that were mounting up.
We were talking about him last night. You go on the field and wonder how long it's going to take for some blood to appear. So Van Wyk, well, got the distance pretty much. Just slipped it past the left-hand upright. But they're starting to work their way back into this match of the home team.
Behind the kicker. Achter.
Jackson, again, probably look for the long drop kick.
Liner.
Bearing in mind there's some sun up there too. This is Van Wyk.
Fine.
We've seen another turnover. Excellent play that from Oakdale. One just gets the feeling that if Oakdale can somehow find a gap somewhere, and that they seem to have done, just have a look at this. Rob Gibson reminding me that that's a number 3 going through. That's the man you were talking about. Showed a clean pair of heels, did Roelofse.
Sure. I don't know how often you're ever going to see this from the halfway line, even further out. Outstrips all the players. Even his own members of his squad couldn't keep up with him. He's got a lovely cauliflower here to show for his hard work in the front row. But that is a phenomenal try from the tight head prop, Nima Roelofse.
Well, route 1, if you find a gap through it, it's the way to go, isn't it? I really thought someone was surely going to catch him from behind, you know, as would be the logic. Pierre de Toy with a conversion, and also very opportune that one feels for Oakdale to get those points.
Now bear in mind, this is a tight head prop. You'll see it, here he gets the ball on his own 10-meter line, shrugs off the tackle, off he goes. And look at the chasers, all backline players don't even get near him. Fantastic to see.
There was a hooker chasing too, eh? But you're right, backline players, didn't matter. Very well done, Nima Roelofse.
Off a blue hand.
This time over the top from Pierre de Toy and into space. Let's look at the chasers here. And the bounce not necessarily favouring Oakdale, although they might have taken it away now. Counter ruck from Marlow. Nothing wrong with that. Skuman.
Fine, he's stolen it.
Well, it was turned over. And the referee says that ball being held on the deck. So another chance for Oakdale. Bear in mind, of course, that at school level you play 35 minutes each way, not 40. So just less than 5 minutes, and probably a wise decision too, one would think.
Yeah, with that try coming their way. Strong work, gets up immediately onto the ball. Goes Stefan Streicher. He's one of those cricketers you were talking about. SVD cricket behind his name.
So far, it's been a good day for Pierre de Toy. Just to really stretch that lead. No problem at all with the distance. It's not straight enough.
Just wait.
So if we have a look at the possession, it's pretty even during the course of this match. So it just once again gives an indication of how tight this game could be. Jordan Skuman with a high up and under. That's brilliantly fielded. This is good play, this by Oakdale. Once again, they've got an opportunity. Another chip and chase. A knock on. So referee will certainly be playing advantage, and it's in Oakdale's favour right now. Just scored a try, looking for another one. Janse van Vieren taking it in, waiting for it is Pierre de Toy. They've got an extra man. Can they make the most of this? Daniel Maria, big man, but it's been turned over again. Now the counter from Marlow, and it was quite the right decision, depending on which way it bounces, of course. So play sweeping right across the field. Ron Barnard under pressure and deciding, let me just get this out. We're on the stroke of half time. So a great attacking position for Oakdale, turned over.
And the man that turned it over, Luigi van Jaarsveld, he's the man that put the kick through as well. And good chase from Johnny van den Heerfer. That has been a bit of a topsy-turvy game, a lot of turnovers in it, knock-ons.
Fine.
Those are, I think, are the two areas that both teams would look very, very seriously at.
Captain. Okay. The breakdown. Plays with hands in from the side.
Okay, sir.
All right, just chat to the guys quickly.
Okay.
All right, I don't want that.
Okay.
I don't want that.
What ball? Both.
Just wait.
Yes. In the liners, they're pulling out guys down.
Okay, I'll look for that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Come on.
You've got to talk to the captain about that. Not one of the players who looks a bit bemused. So I'm not the captain.
One. Can I get some water? Thanks.
So Dirk van Wyk, 2 successful penalties. Another one here. Certainly counts heavily in Marlow's favour, reducing that deficit to just 5. Another good strike there from Van Wyk. Nothing wrong with it. 3 penalty goals then to the fullback. Tell you what, Rob, in the lead up to that kick, what I really enjoyed was it was absolutely dead quiet in here, which probably takes you back to your days in Ireland, where the Irish are just so good at keeping quiet. There's no booing or anything like that.
Oh, that is fantastic to see. Talk about Ireland. Place called Ravenhill, which is quite a hostile environment. Doesn't matter who's kicking for poles, dead still, and what a pleasure to see.
Kickoff going to be taken by Jean Willemse. And fielded by Marlow. Now, one of the things that both teams don't want to do is concede points just before half-time. That's NJ Oosthuizen.
Rock now.
Skuman into Broen. 2 to Schoolboy Star. If there's an opportunity, don't worry about the time. Let's score some points.
Ball! Use it!
I'm not sure if there's a hooter in the stadium somewhere, but it's going to blow pretty soon.
Okay, take it in.
Oh, it'll be the referee's whistle. There it is. Half-time then called by Stephen Clue. It's been a really tough encounter and a tight encounter in this match. But I think one of the things that will count, certainly in Oakdale's favour, is the fact that they've scored 2 tries. No tries from Marlow as of yet, just penalty goals from Dirk van Wyk, 4 of them in fact. But there will be a change of wind direction which could favour Oakdale in the second half. Half-time scoreline then, Marlow 9, Oakdale 14.